Where do we make the most money in real estate? Well, I don't normally talk a lot about real estate, but I'll explain a couple of concepts here. First, in real estate, the more value you add, like anything in business, the more value you add, the more money you make. So if you buy a AAA apartment building and you're going to just really manage it and it already is running very nicely, it's already full, then your contribution to that deal is pretty small. And by the way, the split that you take with your investors should mirror the amount of value that you add to the deal. So in that case, it might be very small. It might be a 90-10 deal. It could be a 95-5 deal. It depends on who your partners are and what it is that you're doing. If you're doing complete renovations of apartment buildings or units or commercial properties, you could be taking a tremendous amount of contribution. You can be making a lot of contribution and adding a lot of value to that property. And probably your split would be something along the lines of 30 or 40%, whereas the investors might get the other 60 or 70. If you're doing ground up development, this is where the absolute most value comes in, is because you're taking something from a very low value use to a high value use, and by adding that building to the land, and developers frequently will do some kind of a 50-50 kind of arrangement. So different stages have different levels of risk. They have different levels of value addition and so forth. Maybe even higher than development is the entitlement of acreage. And there are guys that I know well. They buy raw land, they subdivide it, they entitle it, they get it organized, they put in the plat maps for sewage and all the other kinds of issues, and then they break those into smaller pieces. So they buy something big, break it into smaller sections, and then they sell those off, and they had a lot of value by doing that. So there are lots of different ways that this happens, lots of different ways to add value, and the value that you add corresponds to the amount of split that you're going to take with those investors. Now, one of the things that I always say is that even though you're adding value in real estate, the money is not really made in the real estate. And this is a very ironic and funny thing for a lot of people to hear. They can't understand, what do you mean the money's not made in the real estate? I just took real estate and made money from it, but that's not where the money really comes from. The money is made in the money. And when you control the money, you can buy all the real estate you want and create all the gains that you want. But if you don't learn to control the money, and if you don't understand how to manage the money and to make it work and put it into a structure and use those dollars in an effective way, then you'll never be able to acquire the real estate that you want on the terms that you want, the way that you want. And that's why the guys on Wall Street are so very good at what they do, because they control so much of the money. So they have a fence around so much of the money in our society. And that's why so much money moves in their direction. So give some thought to that, because the money's not in the real estate, the money's in the money. Say that 10 times before you go to bed. And let me tell you that the people that I'm around, what they realize is that I take them out of the real estate business and put them into the money business, because the money business is where all the money gets made. So take that to bed, think about it, say it a few times as you're contemplating what your day is like tomorrow. And in the meantime, go out and stake your claim.